Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. And you're tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast, where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. What's going on with you, bro?
Man, can't call it, man. Just out here, man, doing this thing called living life, man. Just ready to get this Christmas rush over with. Sick of packages. I'm sick of steps.
Nah, I feel
Yeah, man. Just honestly, man, just ready to get this Christmas rush over with, man. Cause I'm telling you, it's been a beat down. It's been a beat down. But I'm good though, man. How you feeling? Everything good with you?
Yeah, man. Everything is great. Just I'm with you on that. Ready for this holiday shit to be over with. Some of this shit just don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? I've been out here working like a goddamn poor man. You know what I mean? Busting my hump, man. Just trying to get this money and make sure these gifts and shit is here and all this other shit. I'm thinking about turning into a Jehovah's Witness, so I gotta break none of this shit. But outside of that, man, everything great, bro. I ain't got no complaints, man.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up.
For sure, man. So let's go ahead and get into our favorite segment of the show. This is where we give you tidbits on what to watch outside of the whatever we're covering on the episode. This is kind of like the trailer before you watch the movie. We call this What We Watching. You ready?
Yep.
What we watching?
What we watching?
All right, man. What you got?
All right, man. So I got one movie that that we were just discussing
Yeah.
that popped up in my head. So there's one movie that just came out. It is a Peacock original and starring Melissa McCartney, which the very funny Melissa McCartney. But so she has a movie called Genie, where she's a genie, and it's about this one black man who got the good life and get a promotion at his job. You know what I'm saying? His wife get upset with him. They got a daughter. She's probably like 12 years old. And so the wife got mad because the job that he took kind of prevent him from being at home. So so she leaves. You know what I'm saying? So she leaves, and like, so he's getting his daughter, like, on weekends, stuff like that. But all of a sudden, this genie appears, and so she's like, "Yo, I'm your genie. You can give, do all the wishes that you want and all this type shit." And so he's trying to, win his wife back and all this. And one thing that was funny, so that I didn't mention earlier, right? So his wife was saying something about the place that he had, like it didn't have basically like no Francois or whatever, right? So so he's trying to like debonair his place up or whatever, because he had like a soccer jersey like on the wall, like it was in the case, type stuff. So he's like, all right, what should I put here? And so he was just like, all right, I wish I had the Mona Lisa. Yo, the genie gets the real Mona Lisa put in his house, right?
Set this nigga up.
So at the museum where the real Mona Lisa is, it's replaced by that jersey. And the Mona Lisa's in his house. And so a fire ended up happening in his house. So it's all over the news that the Mona Lisa is missing. Somebody stole the Mona Lisa. Ended up being like a little small fire in his apartment.
Yeah.
So the police is up there, the firemen and everybody in there, and everybody look at the wall. There's a Mona Lisa on the wall. So my man get arrested. My man go to jail.
So every wish something bad happened to him, right?
Basically. And
Okay.
so And so he ended up finding a way to get out of jail because he was able to like wish that the Mona Lisa was back and he got the jersey back or whatever. And so then they see that the Mona Lisa's back, so he ended up getting released. But anyway, so what you found that was so funny.
Get the fuck out of here.
So the one
Oh
part
my God.
that you found was funny was so the genie ended up falling from a dude. And you can kind of sense it, you feeling it. But my man, he's focused. He want his family back together, all this type shit. So he kind of gets to the point where he's like, where he says that, he don't want to do the whole genie thing no more, whatever. And so she was like, all right, so now you got three final wishes. She was like, that's where the three wish thing come from. So one of his wishes was to go back into time to the day that his boss offered him the job. And so he goes to the boss and the boss offers him promotion. Oh man, this is such a great opportunity. I appreciate it, but I quit. And so my man quit his job. And then no, let me tell you what another one of his wishes was.
Yeah.
Another one of his wishes was so they at this 5-star restaurant, him, his wife, and his kid. And the kid want like some ice cream or some shit like that. Well, they don't have that at this establishment. So he says, I wish that you could figure out how to get her what she wants or whatever. So he used one of his wishes so his daughter could get like some ice cream or some shit.
My nigga. Hey man. Okay, so real quick, this is what bothers me about genie movies, right? The the only thing they got right about this shit, it sound like, is something bad happens to him when he makes a wish. So
Mhm.
I'm glad they got that part right because a lot of the genie movies fuck that part up. But this is the thing. First and foremost, if a white woman pop out talking about some wishes, I'm not thinking genie out the blue. First off, how did you even get to the point to where you're a genie? I ain't never heard of a white genie. Second, um, what out of this whole movie made her think that she had a chance with this man? He's clearly been doing all of this shit to get his wife back and his family back, and you falling in love. First off, she don't need to be a genie because she's unprofessional. And then third, and not third and last and not least, fam. Why would you go back, not take the promotion, and then quit? What are you gonna do from here on out? Like, why'd you just say no, thank you to the promotion? Like was it a thing where like if he didn't take the promotion, he was gonna get fired, or
I have no idea, but it
what
was
the
just
fuck made
like
him quit?
I guess my man was just like I guess maybe his wife. I mean, look, I wasn't like this isn't one of my
There was no way
movies.
you were really watching this shit.
No, no, not like that. So that's why I don't know if that was the situation.
Yeah,
So it was just kind of like, all right, so like I think that he just kind of looked at it like, well, my wife kind of really didn't like me doing this job, so I'm gonna do something where I'm gonna be able to be home more. And
downfall of
so
every
he,
man trying to do shit your wife wants you to do. Listen down.
man,
That's crazy. I will
that
say
yeah.
this though. I said all that to say I definitely got to see this movie now because I need to see this shit for myself. I got to see this for myself. This shit
Well,
sounds
it
wow.
is a Peacock original, and it's
Okay,
called Genie. So you'll be
that's what.
able to find it for sure.
Y'all please go make sure y'all watch this shit, man, because I need y'all to let me know if it's as bad as it sounds. Um, and y'all know I'm a sucker for bad movies because if it is, I'm there. Uh, so for me, man, I just got one. I've been on Max, you know what I'm saying, trying to find stuff to watch, and I don't find a few things. But the one I'm going to talk about today is a show about two women from Miami who decided to be rappers and created a rap group. And the show is called Rap Shit. It's created by Issa Rae. Um, it is involved. It has so many people involved with it. Kid Fury, the famous podcaster, is one of the writers. He also was a character in season one. The City Girls, who just so happen to be, I believe, they consultants or something like that behind all of it. Coach K and P, they got something to do with this. And I'm trying to think who else. I said Issa Rae. It's some other people that had something to do with this too. But when I tell you, man, this is another hit from Issa Rae. Insecure was fire. You know what I'm saying? The
Yep.
way Insecure caught on was amazing. And I'm hoping that rap shit catch on the same way because this show is really great. Um, this show's about two girls named Shauna and Mia who um used to kick it way back in high school and eventually grew apart. And one day, I think yeah, it was Mia. She needed Shauna to watch her daughter or whatever. So they ended up doing that. And Shauna is an aspiring rapper who works at a hotel, and Mia is like this. She's a makeup artist that's like getting real popping on Instagram or whatever. And so eventually, what ends up happening is that they come together and they want to start. You know, they start talking about rapping and music and all that, and they want to start this rap group. And they end up starting this rap group. They end up on tour. Somehow they end up on tour. They end up on tour with like the fake Iggy Azalea, who Shauna hates. Uh, and the way Shauna was rapping is like like super positive rap. Like it's this one scene where she got like this African mask and the afro on, and she rapping about like the struggle and shit. So I mean, the shit is funny. The music is dope. The scene is amazing. They in Miami, so of course, you know, everything is great. It got some people that you may recognize later on, after not seeing them for so long, and then they got some new people in there who you may have not have seen at all. But I'm telling you, man. Matter of fact, it's a dude in there who plays one of the um one of the other rappers that they on tour with. He actually plays as Usopp in the Netflix live action One Piece series. And I watched that the other day and I was like, oh shit, that's dude. So I mean, if you guys know what the One Piece series is, then you'll know who I'm talking about. But if not, go check it out. But no, rap shit is amazing. Issa Rae got another one on her hands. I mean, it's everything about this is fire. It's in season 2 right now. I think they probably got like 2 or 3 more episodes before the season ends, and I mean, she just killing it.
That's what's up, man. I ain't mad at that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to Issa Rae, man. Who, speaking of, is the creative director for the Black American Film Festival that's coming up. So you know what I'm saying? They doing a contest for anybody out there that does their own film and web content, so on and so forth. You can actually make submissions and get yourself in there. February is the deadline, so y'all go check that out. And if you out there putting together some, you know, content, long form, short form, web series, so on and so forth, look into that, man. I think that's a great place to start.
Okay, okay.
So today, man, we talking about whew, we are talking about a film that is actually a part of I would like to say an anthology series. Um it is the third film in the, how do you say this dude's name, man? Hercule Poirot series. Um the first film was Murder on the Orient Express. The second film was Death on the Nile, and now they have Hunting in Venice. And this film is about a detective who gets called upon by an author to basically come to this seance to see if I don't know what you call the person that do the seance, but to see if she's a fake or not. That's how all of this starts. And while everything is going on, pretty much somebody gets killed, and the detective goes into detective mode to figure out what's going on, only to find out that he's actually solving the murder of the person that's quote unquote getting seanced without really even knowing it. Um,
Mhm.
and he ends up doing it. He ends up seeing, finding out what's going on. Uh, and then I guess he gets a feel for detective work again. So I don't know if that's a great description of it, but that's as close as I can get. Watching this movie, you said you watched this movie how many times?
So, the first time I tried to watch it, I fell
Yeah,
asleep on it.
right.
No, excuse me. The first time I watched it, I was busy doing other things, and then the second time I fell asleep on it, and then I watched it again, and it's like even then I wouldn't focus because
Yeah,
it's like
it's
I
a it's a
can't I can't get
it's a
into it now. I seen the second one,
mhm,
which was Death in the Nile on the
yeah,
Nile. Mad boring, just like
yeah,
this one. Like
absolutely.
all of these things are boring.
And what's
Um,
crazy is that it had Janelle Monae in it, which made it even worse.
well, hold on, she was in which one? Death on the
Death
Nile.
No,
Oh, okay. Well, she's getting into that. She was good in Knives Out though. Like this movie,
brilliant Knives Out.
this movie was kind of like it was like a very very bad version of Knives Out. It was like a combination between a bad version of Knives Out and Clue.
I was gonna say I thought it was a bad mixture of Clue and um um what's the dang on one movie, man? Sixth Sense.
Oh, I can see that comparison. I can see where you got that from. But we both said the Clue joint.
For
But
sure.
but yeah, it was just like just watching it, and then when the big reveal came, it was just so disappointing to get like, wow, this is why this is happening. You telling me this is why? Out of all of the shit that's going on and all the things that you went through to stage this and get this to go through the way you wanted it to go, that this was the reasoning for you doing this,
Yeah.
and that's just a parent that don't want to let go. Like that's sickening.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like the screenplay and all, like, yo, like this is what y'all came up with. It's like, all right, man, if this is
Well,
what y'all are doing,
this is all of these are adapted from Agatha Christie books.
yeah.
So these aren't even the one of the guys that is either the producer or executive producer or something like that, or like head writer or something. He got something to do with the behind the scenes. But he's actually like the grandson or great grandson of Agatha Christie, but he's also the CEO of her estate. So all of these movies are basically like kind of like his and his friends' ideas to basically put all these on film. Now, I never seen Murder of the Orient Express whatever the movie's called, Murder on the Orient Express. I never seen that. I
Me
did see
neither.
Death of a Nile. I also fell asleep on that. But this, A Hunting in Venice, I was actually excited to see this because I really thought this was about like ghosts.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I think I got you beat. I used to fall asleep to this movie when it first came out on Max. I used to put it on to go to sleep. That's how unenthused I was about this movie once I actually started watching it. So like I probably got my first time, I probably got through like 30 minutes of it and I was out like a light. So from there on, I was just like, yeah, this is a great movie to go to sleep to. And then one day I stayed up and I actually watched it. And to my surprise, none of this had anything to do with what we thought was going on, like you said. I'm thinking, okay, the ghost is, you know what I'm saying, the ghost done got brought back to life because of the seance and all this other. None of this shit had nothing to do with nothing. The ghost was borderline irrelevant for this whole movie. For them to even show the ghost in this movie pissed me off, to be honest with you.
All right, so let me ask you this. So,
Yeah.
do you think the medium was just faking the shit?
I think they always faking it. I think all of it, I think so initially, right? I think that the author has something to do with setting this whole thing up. This is just how I viewed it. I think the author has
Hmm.
something to do with setting this whole thing up. I think that the mother, um, the mother, of course, she knew what was going on this whole time, but I think that because of everything that was going on, she was feeling more and more guilty about what she did, and
Hmm.
also knowing what she was doing to each and every one of them, it would help the the people believe that this was actually like going on. So the honey shit that she was using, you know what I'm saying, they was gonna believe like this shit was going on.
Yeah,
So to me, I think this is all the author's doing. I think all of this shit is her fault. Well, not the actual murder before
yeah, yeah. You talking
everything.
about the Tina Fey character?
Everything. Yeah. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, she's a trash individual. Okay.
She really is.
So first and foremost, you go all the way to go get parole, right?
Hmm.
And you tell him, you know, it's this chick doing a seance or whatever. I don't think she for real. I think you need to come with me to go to this seance and we need to figure out if she capping or not. They get all the way there. Whole time, she just hoping some shit happens so she can use this nigga to write another book. Cause basically the stories that she writing been trash lately. Ain't this a bitch? Why didn't you just tell me that to begin with? We could have made some shit up. We could have collaborated. Why the fuck do I got to go all the way over here? Mind you, World War II just ended, so shit already hectic. Come on, man. You could have saved me a whole fucking trip.
This is very true. But she only want the authentic shit, man. She only want the real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Man, that's cap. Good story is a good story, brother. We don't got to go through all this. A man died just so you could get a book. She should be ashamed of herself.
yo, it's all about making this bread, man. She
Yeah,
ain't
that's
care nothing about that.
yeah,
She
at
just
all.
wanted that real story. Then told my man to his face, like, yo, like, I'm basically using you, but you're
You know,
using me.
hey,
Like,
word. She told that nigga in the beginning. She made that nigga famous.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what she told him in that argument at the house. She was like, yo, like, I'm using you for your stories and you're
Mhm.
using me to get famous. Like she looking at it like, yo, this is a win-win situation for both of us. You know what I'm
He
saying? But
he was retired though. My man was out of there. He ain't even give a fuck about that no more. My man was enjoying life. My man had his bodyguard with him. You know what I'm saying? He walking around cooling, enjoying the day. Here she come, wanting to put him in some shit.
yeah, bringing fucking peaches or whatever the fuck that damn
Mm,
shit was.
come on,
Like,
bro.
yeah, that was yeah,
Hey,
her character. First of all, this is another thing. Okay, let me just get this out here. Right, Tina Fey, in my opinion, is known for her glasses. Why her character couldn't have no glasses? That's stupid.
yo, I'm
Okay.
with you because when I first seen her, I did not realize that was Tina Fey at first. Without the glasses are her staple. I didn't realize that was her at first, and I kept saying like, "Man, this lady looked familiar as hell." Until I realized, I'm like, "Damn, that is Tina fucking Fey." But I'm gonna be honest with you, Tina Fey don't belong outside of comedy movies.
Okay, I
I
can
wasn't
agree.
a fan of her in this.
Yeah, I don't. There's some people who have stepped out of that lane to
Yeah.
where it's cool. It's not an issue.
Hmm.
Me seeing her in this, in the way that this movie went down, she was just completely unrecognizable. It was just
Yeah.
like no glasses, no comedy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's just like, you know what I mean? There's been a lot of people who have stepped out of that, but like, I don't think this was it. I think that this
Mhm.
movie was just a little bit. little far fetched for her, I would say. Which is it's a weird casting anyway
For
for
sure.
her.
Michelle Yeoh as the lady Joyce Reynolds, the lady that does the seance.
Yeah,
Yo, that's the lady from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I know.
That
And
that
and
another one.
for her to get her ass whooped and thrown off of a balcony and
Man. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. It didn't make sense to me. You had to pick somebody else, man. First and foremost, she'd have ran along the fence, climbed back up the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't how I want to remember Michelle Yeoh, bro. You know what I'm saying? Michelle Yeoh was a badass in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's how I want to remember Michelle Yeoh. Like, if she don't have roles like that, I don't want to see her, bro.
Yo, I hear you, my guy. She put on a performance going in a circle though.
Yeah, that was a hell of a set. Oh, real quick though, bro. Tina Fey. Gotta say this.
Okay.
Definitely top 15 hotties in Hollywood for sure.
With the glasses,
Yeah, not
I could
without them.
agree.
Without
Yeah, without
without them,
them,
she
it's
was
just,
like an average lady. But with the
yeah,
glasses, fire.
the glasses do something.
Yeah, yeah,
It definitely knocks her up the list like a lot.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Glasses
yeah,
make her fire. But
yeah.
I
So
mean, so about this cast, because you did bring up a good point. Very odd choice, right? Like
mhm,
Kenneth Branagh, he is actually the director of this as well. I'm not sure if he directed the other two, but
he did.
he's for sure the director in this one, right? Then you got Jamie Dornan, who I've seen in a
Okay,
couple other ones.
now this is the thing with him.
Yeah.
Now I know a lot of the girls probably know him for the what's the name movies, the darker gray. What the fuck them damn shits called?
Oh, this is the dude from 50
Fit,
Cent. Yeah, you
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I know him from. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So all the girls know him for that. I know him from The
And
Fall. Yo, he did this TV series with
yeah,
motherfucking which one was Mulder or Scully was the girl? Which one was the girl? It was Scully, right? Scully was the girl, right?
I just know both of their names.
So
I know those X Files.
okay, yeah. So she is like a detective,
Yeah.
and this is like a British type of show, but
Okay.
he's a fucking serial killer,
It makes
right?
sense.
And they end up forming this weird relationship type of
Yeah.
thing.
He's Dexter. He's
Yeah,
British Dexter.
yeah, yeah. And like it started out as a Netflix show. I think it had like
Yeah.
2 seasons or some shit like that. That shit
Okay.
was dope as fuck. It was an under the radar show,
Yeah.
but that shit was dope. I really liked it. It was called The Fall.
I'm gonna
But
check it out.
most people probably know him for 50 Shades of Grey
50
shit.
Shades of
But
Grey.
like, yeah,
Yeah. I definitely watched all of the 50 Shades of Grey movies
okay.
for sure. Fire movies, by the way, and books.
I wouldn't know, but okay.
Hey man, do yourself a favor. Just know it's lit.
I think
Okay?
I seen a little bit of the first one.
Hey man, what's that nigga name? I'm about to say Dorian Gray, but I don't think that's him. I think that's somebody else in the book. But Gray is that nigga. Okay, he is that nigga. This nigga is a billionaire, and he just pick them out however he want them. Give them contracts and be like, "This is what you got to do." They go with it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he want, they with it.
It's
That's
funny you said that. Dorian Gray was like a figure back in like the 20s or
that's what.
whatever the fuck
Yeah, that's what I'm
decade it
saying. He
was.
from another book. He from the book about the dude that got trapped in a mirror or the picture or something.
Because Dorian Gray was like because one of my shows I told you I fuck with heavy is Penny Dreadful. And
Mhm.
Penny Dreadful was one of those shows that got like those mythical figures from back in the day,
Yeah.
like I forget what my girl who I think technically she was like some kind of witch or whatever,
Mhm.
but it had Victor Frankenstein in it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it had Josh Hartnett played the werewolf,
Okay.
and Dorian Gray was in it, but like Dorian Gray was seen as this dude he was really kind of like a bisexual, but like everything was about sex and blood. Like it was just,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
If you
Yeah, he.
if you ever watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that's where I remember Dorian Gray from. Well, that's where uh I remember the name from Dorian Gray, but I've the book about him is the I know he's like he's his soul or something is in a painting or some shit like that, and he got to keep the painting fresh or something. It's some weird shit. I forgot how it exactly goes, but yeah, that's what I was thinking of was League of the Extraordinary Gentlemen because he's in that too, or that
Gotcha.
character is in that as
The
well.
character,
But
yeah.
yeah, the dude Gray, I think his name is Gray, but uh, yeah, his name is his last name is Gray, but the nigga is adopted and he gets adopted by like this rich ass family and they show him the ropes and shit. So now he like this baller ass nigga. And you know what I'm saying? He just out here just getting it how he live. You feel me? Just living life to the fullest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real ass nigga. Real ass nigga. You feel me? He said, sign this paper. And you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna light you up with these, you know what I'm saying, whips and chains. I'll make your life right. Nigga out here slanging. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. It's a great movie, man. Inspiring. You know what I'm saying? But back to this cast, man. So yeah, also I know Fernando Poloni. I've seen him in some things. Um, and everybody else, I really haven't. I believe Rowan Robinson. I think I know her. I want to say she was in the Eternals, and I might be wrong. Probably wrong. Definitely wrong because she's not in the Eternals. But I've seen her in something else.
Well, I
I
know
may
the
have seen
Kelly
her in
Riley lady.
okay.
Well, I know her from. I know everybody know her from like I think what's that shit? Was it Yellowstone that she's in?
Oh yeah,
Um,
I gotta watch that. I've been hearing great things.
but see, I know her. I know her because she's the you know what I'm saying, the lady that Denzel Washington was with in Flight. That's where I know her from. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it says she was in the Yellowstone. It was Yellowstone. So you know how that shit took off heavy. So she was in that.
Yeah.
But
But I
but
mean,
yeah,
you are definitely right though, bro. Like this is not a and I think that's what kind of sets this apart from the other two is the fact that and really I think this is what makes all of these movies pretty much like um the type of movies that they are because if you go back to the first one, right? Let's go to Murder on the Orient Express and look at this cast. You got Penelope Cruz, William Defoe, um, and then the more and deeper you get into it, it's a bunch of names that you really don't know. Like Leslie Odom Jr., we kind of know him. Um, Josh Gad, I know him. Johnny Depp is in it, of course. Uh It's not too, you know what I'm saying? Like us or Michelle Pfeiffer, of course. But like the further and further you get into this, oh my god, who is that? I had to look her up later. Um, but the more and more you get into it, you like, okay, this it ain't really a lot of shit going on, right? And then you go to Death, excuse me, you go to Death on the Nile, which I think is really the best cast, right? You got Annette Bening, you got Russell Brand, um, you got Gail Gadot. Uh, let me see who else is in here that we might know. I say, and if you know any of them, definitely call them out. But you got Letitia Wright. Um, let me see who else do I see in here. And you got a couple others, but I mean, to me, it's like you got a few of them that have that star power, and you got a few of them who are very recognizable. But then, like for the rest of the cast, like it's people that you either have seen on like TV shows or in smaller roles or movies. There's nobody that really you know what I'm saying, like has too much star power in these movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like maybe Gal Gadot at the time when Death of a Nile came out because of the whole Wonder Woman thing and the Justice
And the
League and stuff
Fast
like
and the
that.
Furious and shit.
Yeah, Fast
Yeah.
and the Furious and all that. And then Letitia Wright as well because of Black Panther and Marvel. But like outside of that, it's not really too many people with like you know what I'm saying, like real big star power. And for me, I feel like even getting somebody like Tina Fey, you know what I'm saying, like to play a role in this was kind of a, I don't want to say weird, but it was kind of like an offset choice because it was like she can act. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she
Yeah.
can't act, but to see her in this, it was kind of off putting a little bit.
I I have to agree, man. It just it don't feel like it fit. Like
Hmm.
it feel like I'm not gonna say it was a check. I think it was more of like maybe her wanting to be like, you know what? I think this is something that can put me in that different atmosphere of like,
I
you
agree.
know what I'm saying? Let me try to well round my career in a way.
Hmm.
Because it seems like all of these comedians are stepping into that lane of like wanting to, I don't know necessarily, or wanting to prove something, or just, I think really just to be well rounded. I think
Yeah,
I think it's a challenge. I
yeah,
think when you think of comedians, I think a lot of them love to be challenged, and I think that maybe she took this role on to be like, all right, I want to challenge myself to, to show people and show myself that I can be a serious actor. You know what
I
I'm saying?
agree.
And not just do something comedic and make people
Yeah,
laugh. Let me step on the screen and do something. And I think that's another reason why she didn't wear glasses.
that's a good
I
point.
think I think she didn't wear her glasses because she wanted to be seen as something else. And I think if she would have had the glasses on, it would have been like, okay, this is what we know her from. Every time we see her and see her being funny, she got her glasses on. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Let me not wear the glasses. So I think that could be something, but maybe I'm just overlooking it. But
No, I
yeah,
I think you are onto something though, because for for most people, right? Like when we usually see like an actor or actress, especially when they're known for something totally different than, you know what I'm saying, like what they do, or what they're doing. Usually it's easier to point them out if they kind of look similar to what they've been looking like, right? Like when Marlon Wayans would do like serious roles, he still would have like the same hairstyle. So we knew, you know what I'm saying, it's Marlon Wayans. And it's kind of hard to, you know what I'm saying, not recognize him. But still, like we knew, okay, this is Marlon Wayans. Um, or just like anybody for that matter, like even if it was I'm trying to think of somebody with something like super distinct that we could possibly name. But like usually it sets them apart from everybody else, right? Like Tina Fey has the glasses. When you watched her on, you know what I'm saying, the TV shows or SNL, she always had the glasses. So to now see her without them, I think it kind of threw us off big time. And I think that's another thing that kind of turned me off too, because I didn't really recognize anybody from the cast. And so you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that when you do something like this, it makes it a little bit easier if you familiar with the actors and actresses in the film, because we got to remember first and foremost that these are book adaptations. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Even though they may not be named the same thing or whatever, they're still basically based off of stories from Agatha Christie. So, and I think that's another thing too, like not knowing the actual story. This movie wasn't exciting enough or intriguing enough to kind of, you know what I'm saying, like keep your attention in order for it to tell its story. It was a slow burn for sure.
It was definitely a slow burn, and I think that, and then for the big reveal to just be that the the woman's daughter met this dude. They was gonna get married and all this type shit. And basically, when you get married, you know what I'm saying, you leave the nest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go, spend your life with your husband, and the moms didn't want her to leave, so she planted this shit and start putting this stuff. And that's how I can see we get the Sixth Sense thing kind of from,
Hmm.
in a way, because one of the people that the little kid helped was
Yeah.
she wanted to show her parents that it was the nurse lady or whatever she was. I
Yeah, that
forget
was
what she
making
was.
everybody sick.
Yeah, that was, well, making her sick. Like she
Yeah.
kept putting, what I'm saying, like rat poison or Lysol or something in the girl's
Hmm.
soup, and then would tell the girl, "Don't tell me it tastes funny either." Bitch, if it tastes funny, it tastes funny. What the hell
Yeah,
you mean? Don't
absolutely.
tell me it tastes funny.
That's all,
But
bitch. What you talking
yeah,
about?
that was a weird shit. Nobody talk about that when they talk about the Sixth Sense. When they were showing that video over, and she was
Yeah.
like, "I want to hear that mess about it taste funny." What you
Yeah, man.
mean?
The goddamn pine saw lady about to bust through. What are you
Yeah,
talking
this
about?
shit,
This shit
shit
should
taste
taste
like
like lemon.
pine saw. Like, what you
Yeah,
mean?
none of this soup
Um,
tastes like lemon.
but but yeah, like she was like the big reveal is like she is keeping her daughter sick, so her daughter wouldn't marry this dude and leave. It's like, really? You did all of this because that's
What
just some sick
what's
weird shit.
even crazier was the setup, right? The setup of her like carving the little thing into the daughter to get the symbol, like she was hunted and shit like that. Why didn't you just call the police when your daughter died? Like, why didn't you just call the authorities and be like, "Hey, my daughter fell off, you know what I'm saying, out the fucking window. I need 911." I mean, I know they in Italy, but still, like, come on, man. Just call the authorities. All of this shit could have been solved if you would have did the thing that most common people do by calling the authorities to get some proper help for your child. Then, not only that, what I thought was also dope was the fact that she died the same way her daughter died.
Yep.
I thought that was a great callback. Um, there are some good things about this movie for sure, right? Um, the dynamic between the author Oliver and Perot, that dynamic is very intriguing to me, at least, because you never know where either one of them really stands in this movie until the big argument. And then
Hmm.
you kind of see, you know what I'm saying, like what's really going on. Until that point, you think like you could tell that they're kind of friends, but then you could tell like they don't really fuck with each other. Like they got that like frenemy energy and shit. So I think
Hmm.
that kind of made it um a little bit more digestible to watch through this because it was at least something that you could kind of hold on to see what was really going on. To find out all of this shit was a hoax, and to find out all of this shit was just basically created so this bitch could write a book. How did you feel about that?
I mean, her, first of all, I respect her hustle.
For
Let me
sure.
get that out there first. I respect her hustle. Um, but it's kind of like, the first of all, the way she went about it, but then also because things didn't go the way she wanted them to go, she want to try to throw my dude under the bus and shit.
Absolutely.
Like, for her to just be like, "All right, you're famous because of me, so why wouldn't I use you for your stories?"
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, first of all, you wouldn't even be in the position that you are without me.
Right.
And so for you to say I'm only famous because of you, but then you're using me for my story. So obviously, bitch, you need me, but you trying
Absolutely.
to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying, that I need you. And I think that part was kind of BS. But then to put people somewhere to where people actually died.
Yeah.
Like you put me in danger. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So you can sell a book, and then you want me to believe that we are in a haunted house. It's like, nah, don't put me in that position. But nah, I get you want to write stories about stuff that is authentic, instead of just like you said earlier, where it's like, yo, just let me know you need a story. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? We can, you know what I'm saying, coexist, put our brains together and make up some shit. But you want some authentic shit, which I'm not mad at that either, because at least you're reading something that she was putting down to actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean, instead of just some, you know what I'm saying, some made up fictional shit. But yeah, she definitely was a dirtbag, because what if when that damn chandelier fell, when them kids was in there, one of them kids would have died? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, obviously
yeah,
she ain't give a fuck about niggas dying, so
that's what I'm saying. Like she just didn't care. Like she was
yeah,
just out
she
here to
just
make a
wanted the money
profit.
back. Yeah.
But at least, hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? She put her money where her mouth is, though.
Nah, for sure. How trash was World War II Italy though? The fact that like, well, just after World War II in general, just the 40s, the 40s had to be ass, bro.
So bad. It had to
Like
be,
they
especially
ain't
over
had no
there.
Netflix, they ain't had no TV for real. Them niggas still listening to shit on the radio. Like they listening to major events on the radio. That is not a
Yeah.
good place to be, bro. Like, can you imagine waking up every day, bro? Eating breakfast, going about your daily routine, and picking up a fucking newspaper.
This is what makes it worse, is the fact of, now I'm not a history, well, I'm a history buff, but not in this realm, right?
Yeah,
But it's like, okay, any place where there were wars that was going on, you know, you had the cleanup, you had the rebuild, you had, you know what I'm saying, all of this shit. The economy is in the toilet. Like, I just wonder, like, with this rebuild, I wonder, were people getting paid viable wages to to do this rebuild, to do this cleanup, to do, you know what I mean? Like all of this shit that your country just went through. Like, I wonder, could these people even make a profit? That I don't know. But like, it had to be a trash time if it was a situation where, you know, they're going through their version of a Great Depression, and you got people out here doing this work for chump change.
word.
That part I don't know. Like, I'm not. That's not why I specialize when it comes to the history stuff that I follow. But it's just like, that had to be trash. If you're out here working, I don't know, 12 hours or whatever the case may be, and you bring it home, you know what I'm saying, less than minimum wage, because, you know what I'm saying, the country's in the toilet because there was a war that just happened. So it had to be a trash ass time. Like, it had to be. I would imagine that it was. But yeah, I just think that, you know, with this coming from the book that it came from, I just feel like them. Okay, let me ask you this, man.
Yeah.
Somebody was talking about. You might have heard it, because it might have been one of the pods that we both listened to. But they were talking about. But it could have been Ebro in the morning too. But they were talking about Romeo and Juliet and shit, and William Shakespeare,
Hmm.
and they were just like, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, it's a love story of, I think they said that they were 13 and 15, and like
Yeah,
the
they was
shit
young
was
as fuck.
like 3 or 4 days,
Yeah,
and then
it
it
was
was
young as fuck.
over.
Yeah.
And it's like, y'all telling me, because they were saying that William Shakespeare, somebody was saying that William Shakespeare was overrated. And that was like, yo, like, it's a story about. Now, this is the thing. Obviously, Romeo and Juliet has passed the test of, you know what I'm saying, you know
Yo,
what I mean?
real quick, speaking of Shakespeare, you know that all movies, television, all that shit is basically derived from like the blueprints of Shakespeare work.
I'm not surprised, and I'm not mad at his Othello joint,
Yeah,
but I'm just meaning like it. Obviously, it passed the test of time because it
absolutely.
went long as it did. But I think what they was trying to say was like, yo, this shit is completely overrated. Like we're talking about a span of 3 to 4 days with a 13 and a 15-year-old.
Fire.
In which way
What
for
part,
it to?
bro? Have you ever okay, so two questions. Have you ever
Okay,
read Romeo and Juliet?
fuck no,
Okay. Have you ever seen any Romeo and Juliet movies or plays?
double time no.
Okay. So I was in a Romeo, well, okay. I was in theater in school, right? I
Hmm.
was in 3 plays. I think I told y'all about the times I was in plays before. My first ever play was a Christmas play where I played Blitzen, the reindeer. My
Hmm.
second ever play, I played a soldier, soldier number 3 and Carmen. You know what I'm saying? My line was Halt, who goes there? I remember that like it was yesterday. And then my third play ever was Romeo and Juliet. I was on the Capulet side.
Okay.
I forgot what character I played, but I was definitely on the Capulet side. Um, but if you ever get a chance to, definitely read Romeo and Juliet, and especially for you because you're a writer, so you would really love like the breakdown and the way that they put this story together. Romeo and Juliet, right? They are young. I don't know if they 13 and 14 and shit, but they teenagers. They not adults. They teenagers, and their families are beefing. The Montagues and the Capulets, right? And in this family beef, basically, Romeo sees this girl. She's supposed to be getting prepared to be, like wedded off or whatever, because that's what they did back in the times. But Romeo sees this girl and he falls in love with her. He like, yo, I gotta have this chick. Like this chick is bad. But he finds out that she's a part of the other family who don't that they don't even fuck with these people. And so because she's a part of that family, what I'm saying, they sneak in and doing their thing. What ends up happening is um I believe it was Juliet faked her death, and Romeo had seen her dead, and he because he seen where he thought she was dead, so he kills himself out of an act of love. And when Juliet sees what happens, she realized what she's done, so she then kills herself in an act of love. You know what I'm saying? Bunch of other shit in between that, but that's the gist of the story though. But when I tell you it's fire, Romeo and Juliet is probably the most fire, and there's no question of why this stood the test of time. Like this is probably one of the most fire works ever published. The like Hamlet is another one. Hamlet is fire. Um, it's a couple of them, man, but definitely Romeo and Juliet is like top 3 stories ever told for sure.
Get that the fuck out of
I'm
here,
being for real, bro.
man. Listen,
Bro,
if
Go
your
go
ass
watch
fake your
Leonardo.
death,
Go watch Leonardo joint.
yo, listen. Let me tell you something. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Let me get that out there right now.
You
All right,
you would
man.
definitely be a Romeo.
I love all of that, you know what I'm saying, cozy shit, you know what I'm saying? Hugged
Uh-huh.
up under the blanket, all that. Yo, I saw this video of Boozy, right?
Yeah, with him and all the girls.
All right. Now I don't agree with the first part of what he said. That's Boozy. Like Boozy just say a lot of shit and it be like
Absolutely,
you gotta pick that shit apart, right?
absolutely.
So Boozy was talking about how he was like, "Yo, I want a feminine woman." He was like, "Man, you cook for me, wash my clothes, iron my clothes." He was like, "You do any other type of shit that my mama do, you got me right." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"All right, that sounds like some 1950 shit, but okay." So then he
right.
was like, "Yo, I like a feminine woman." He said, "I like to get in the bed and the girl rub her feet on my feet." And I was like, okay, I'm with that. And then
Yeah.
he was like, I like a feminine girl to where he was like, when I bust a nut, don't lay on the other side of the bed. I want you to cuddle with me, right? so, so he was like, so Boozy just going down all the shit, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, Boozy ain't mad at it. But what that made me think of was because, like, I'm with all of that.
Yeah.
But if you die, I
But
don't think I'm
yeah, I
gonna
ain't
kill
gonna
myself for no act of
ain't
no
saying that.
love. You know what I
Leave
mean?
the death
Like,
part out of it. No. Don't focus on the death part. The fact of the matter is this, right? Like this nigga, like when I say they families ain't fuck with each other, they families ain't fuck with each other. It was like the Hatfields and McCoys, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like they was on that shit for real. Like nigga, if they see each other in the street, it's some on site shit, nigga. No matter what's going down, the king could be walking through, and nigga, one of them be like, good morrow, King, or whatever. And if that nigga turned around, they was like, oh shit, nigga, that's a Montague. Them niggas fighting. You know what I'm saying? In front of the king. They don't give a fuck. Like they was really like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is like, it's like a love story with gang war.
I hear you, and a lot of it, it's a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
animated on some shit, but like, I bring that up to say, like, with this being like an old story, you know what I'm saying? With
Mm-hmm.
Agatha Christie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just feel like some of the stuff is just a little outdated. You know what I mean? And I think
I
that
agree.
with this movie, I think that the story is kind of outdated because it's like we find out that the mother was making her daughter sick because she was getting married and she was basically was gonna leave, and then we found out that another reason why I think she kind of worked with the author lady is because she was getting blackmailed, and
Yeah,
she thought the person that was blackmailing her was the doctor. But come to
yeah.
find out, the person that was actually blackmailing her was the damn doctor's son.
Leopold.
Yeah, and it's just like,
Yo,
what the
which is a
fuck? Like,
wild ass name for a boy in 1940 anything.
it really was. And but for him to be like the only, really, the kid might have been the most level-headed person in the whole damn movie.
Well, yeah, because he that nigga had to grow up fast. His parents was on some bullshit. This nigga was basically raising his parents.
He
Because his
definitely was
dad
raising
was,
his dad.
yeah, his dad was tripping from the war and shit. And I forgot what was wrong with his mom, but I know for a fact his dad was tripping from the war, which to me, you know what I'm saying? Like I thought the dynamics of all the characters, like how they had their own backstory and all that shit, and it all like affected them in the middle of all this shit. I thought that was dope the way that they put that in there. Um, but go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no, no. I mean, I was just saying, like, it just seems like that the story itself is
Mm-hmm.
just a little outdated. That's why I brought up William Shakespeare and like in some of
Yeah.
the things that he have. Even though they keeping this shit going, like I tried to watch I don't know who did it. It might have been William Shakespeare, but the tragedy of Macbeth.
Yeah,
Like I tried to watch, yeah, I tried to watch that shit with Denzel Washington and stuff. It was like
yeah.
I just couldn't, you
How,
know what I'm
okay,
saying?
so you fuck with Othello though. That's what's throwing me off.
But this is the thing though. Think about the Othello that I fuck with. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know
It's the
that's why I
old.
said you gotta. That's why I said you gotta watch the Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. I think then you'll fuck with the story.
I mean, that's definitely a project I could jump onto, but I think but what they did with the Othello story is they modernized it. You know what I mean? You got
That's what
Odom
they kind of
James,
did with.
fucking.
Yeah, that's what they kind of did with the Romeo and Juliet with Leo. So that's why I said I
Yeah.
think you'll fuck with it though.
But that story though, look, I know I done that movie on the 28 minutes or less,
Mm-hmm.
but I would definitely be down to do that shit on this podcast because
Othello.
yes, that shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? The way
Well,
Josh Hartnett played him in that fucking movie, my
mm-hmm.
God, that you want to talk about betrayal. You know what I mean? And for that
That's
movie to end the
that's
way
why
that it
you
did,
that's why you gotta watch. That's why you gotta watch
yeah,
Romeo and Juliet because you'll understand where that comes from.
Like that is just wild, man. It's really wild. But that's all. That's the only thing I meant was just I just feel like this. I feel like the story is just probably just a little outdated, and I think that
Yeah,
this movie, the way that they put it together, it just like I said, I just found it boring. It was just so many
it
parts of this
is.
movie where it just
I know
really
it is.
got boring.
Yes.
And it's like it didn't even though like movies like I know we're like a phrase that I use on this podcast is like a grown person movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're not into cinema like that, you may go into Oppenheimer and be like, yo, like this shit was, you know what I mean? But
Right.
if you really into the cinematic shit, it's like, yo, Oppenheimer was fucking dope. I mean, now don't get me
And
wrong.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's a lot of dialogue. It's a
Yeah.
lot of dialogue,
Yeah.
but it makes sense and it fits and it you know what I'm saying? It
It's
flows.
made
Like
that
this
though.
movie, it didn't flow. It was just like I don't know. I don't really know how to put my finger on
I think so. For me, the most interesting part of this whole film was Perot, right?
it.
And death on the now, it was all kind of like a little bit of comedy in it. So I think that's what made that a little bit more bearable.
Hmm.
For like I said, I haven't seen Murder on the Orient Express. Now I actually want to go back and try to watch it just to see what POV they took on that one, because with this one, this is supposed to be like horror. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for me, the most interesting part of all of this is him trying to battle whether or not he's really seeing this ghost, right?
Yeah.
So throughout this whole thing, we keep seeing him see these ghosts, and we keep seeing like the ghosts and shit go behind him. But the interesting part is it's only happening really with him. It's not happening with nobody else like that. Every time we see him, we usually see some sort of you know what I'm saying, ghostly figure. And so I think in his head, he's trying to figure out, am I really seeing this, or am I really caught up in everything that's going on? So I'm thinking I'm seeing this. And in all actuality, it's the fact that this motherfucker is hallucinating because he's been drugged this whole time.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what it is. I think it's just a letdown of the fact that you go in thinking that it's this thing, and then when the big reveal comes, it's not as, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, it's not as like you know what I'm saying, as we wanted it to be. You know what I'm saying? It's not a real big gasp at the end, like, oh, that's what. No, it's just like, oh, so not only did this bitch drug her daughter, she drugged everybody else.
Yep.
And so, you know what I'm saying, you sitting there looking at it and you like, well, goddamn, like, meanwhile, this nigga is, you know what I'm saying, he trying to solve this shit. Come to find out, he ain't really that good of a detective because he been getting drugged this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's just one of them things, man. And I'm glad you brought up the Shakespeare point, because that's super interesting though. Because I think that when we are when people are taking these old stories and they're trying to make the film adaptation of it, I think they have to understand that you have to be able to modernize it one way or the other, right?
Hmm.
And regardless of what setting you put it in, what theme you have it as, or any of that, you still have to find a way to modernize it. And I don't mean modernizing as to making it like, you know what I'm saying, like the shit that we on now, or you know what I'm saying, the shit that we into. I'm saying modernize it to the fact of, you have to make it as close to the people that's living as possible. And I think that's what they were trying to do when they were doing like the post World War II thing. But I feel like as a country, we so burnt out on this World War II themed shit, and like even the video games now, like all the video games, you go shoot some shit. Everything is World War II, zombies, World War II, fucking movies, some shit that happened in World War II. And it's like, fam, would you let this shit go? We get it. Y'all kill Hitler. Y'all won. We understand. But this is it don't help. You know what I'm saying? It don't help. The
Mhm.
whole time you locked up in this big ass house. So it's not really you're not really seeing nothing different. You're just seeing them all in this big ass house, and you just focused on him trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And that's really all this movie is. It's not. It's nothing else to it. He trying to figure out if it's really ghosting this motherfucker, and he trying to figure out who killed the girl. At the end of the day, that's all this movie is about. There's no real horror in it. There's no real, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't nothing really that makes you when you sitting down watching it, it don't capture you, it don't intrigue you. And so I feel like Death on the Nile was the same way, man. The shit was so boring because it's like, okay, what the fuck are we here for? Like,
Yeah.
what is the purpose of this shit? They supposed to be going to see the pyramids. A nigga died. Now he trying to break down everything and find out how the motherfucker died. It's the same thing in this. You know what I'm saying? Like a motherfucker died. They got to figure out, you know what I'm saying, what happened. And I'm assuming when I go watch Murder on the Orient Express, it's gonna be the same goddamn thing.
I would
You know what I'm
assume
saying?
so.
Yeah, like is so we know that this dude is a great detective because he solved all of these, you know what I'm saying, murders or crimes or whatever. So we know that he's this great detective. But then you add in this author who's pretty much writing about him all the time, and you find out she set this whole shit up, and it's like it's to me it's just a big ass letdown at the end. And I think that's what a lot of these movie houses, these production houses, and these writing rooms, I think that's where they're failing at is the finale of the movie. You know what I'm saying, or the show or whatever. These finales have been lackluster as fuck, man.
Yeah.
That's this was really a lackluster ass finale. When you figure out everything that's going on in this movie and why it's happening, it ain't gonna do shit but piss you off. Cause you like, man, I really sat here and watched this shit this whole time, and you mean to tell me it's not one fucking ghost? And the shitty part is you see them all through the film. You've been seeing them this whole time, but you know this motherfucker don't even exist for real. This nigga been hallucinating because and another thing that threw me off too was the fact that the girl was never described in the film. So he was just seeing a girl.
Well, he saw the one picture. Remember when the dude that was dating her, the picture fell out of his pocket, and it just had
Oh, so
the
yeah.
picture of
So
her, the
now
rip picture of her.
you know what? Now you right. And I forgot about that part. So now I'm really pissed now because this whole time he just been hallucinating off that picture.
Yeah, he did see the one picture, but I felt
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, yeah,
That's fucking crazy. But I mean, it is what it is. Real quick though, back to how trash it was post World War II. Nigga, they didn't even have color TV yet. And the little bit that they had was like barely out.
yeah. Those hard times, man. But you don't know how hard it is if you never experienced anything else, though.
No. You don't. You absolutely right. That was probably the best shit in their life. I'm just saying, like for us, like that. Thinking back, that's trash, bro.
Yes, very
Like I
trash.
wish I could just reach back in time and just tell them, like, yo, y'all have no idea the shit that's about to pop. This shit is ass, my nigga. The only cool thing that they still had at that time was vinyls. Outside of the vinyls, that shit was ass. The radios, ass. The TVs. Have you ever seen a TV from the 40s and 50s?
Yes,
Oh
very
my
bad.
god, that shit was the size of a lunchbox, nigga. That shit was horrible, bro. That shit was horrible, bro. You got to think about this too. It wasn't no sports on TV.
None at all.
Man, you had to go. Well, I guess that's a good thing. You had to actually go to the games. But shit, even then, you really couldn't do shit because what in the 40s, the Browns won a championship, and wasn't nobody rooting for Jim Brown. They hated that nigga. It was racist. Damn. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a trash ass time in history. I ain't gonna lie to you. Especially in America. That shit was horrible. You had racism left and right. You had these little ass TVs. How could you see anything on that motherfucker, man? I don't know. That
That
shit,
screen was like 8 inches.
man, not even that. That shit, they was literally watching what we watching on iPhone, bro. I'm telling you, nigga, they basically was watching shit on the iPad, my nigga. iPad mini at that. That shit was horrible. Without the clarity, though. That shit was all scrambling and shit, bro. Oh, nah.
Oh
Hell no.
man.
I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it. I I would literally break that fucking TV. If
I
somebody
don't
brought
know,
me an
but that
old ass
TV was hard as fuck.
man, shit. Not if you drop it from a high place. That's a real punishment though. If y'all got any kids, go get one of them old ass 1940s TVs and make them watch TV like that. I bet you they won't do nothing else.
No, make them move that shit from one room to
Oh yeah,
another.
they got to pick that motherfucker up and put it in their room themselves for sure. Them motherfuckers is heavy in this bitch, boy.
Damn,
That
that's
shit was crazy.
hilarious.
Nah, man, the 40s was trash. I'm gonna tell you how trash
Oh,
the 40s was. The fact they made this movie and it was in the 40s was even worse because this was post World War II, right? These motherfuckers had all kind of shit to do in Venice, bro. You could have went out to eat. You could have went to go see a play. You could did all kind of cool shit. They decided to go to a seance in the old ass quote unquote haunted house. That's how trash the 40s was. So I'm cool.
yeah,
I'm
great
cool.
point.
Let's let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's do the fire flames. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
Please allow me to go first if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
2.5 off the bat. 2.5. This shit was trash. I'm not gonna lie to you. First and foremost, this is my favorite movie to go to sleep to, by the way. If I didn't mention that already. Um, the casting was odd. They did have some stars in there though. Like I said, shout out to Michelle Yeoh. Don't never let them put you in a role like this ever again for the sake of your legacy. This ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm really disappointed in them for doing that to my homegirl. I'm gonna go watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again. You know what I'm saying? Just cause. Um, but I think that Branagh did a great job. Or Branagh, I think that's how you say his last name. I think he did a great job though. Ultimately, for him to direct and star in this film, is no easy feat. Um, we heard Michael B. Jordan talk about how this was his first time actually directing and acting at the same time, especially being in a star role. And he talked about how difficult it was at first, and then eventually, it kind of got a little bit better. But shout out to him for doing that. Tina Fey, get them glasses back, baby. Um, but the writers, you know what I'm saying? I understand why there was a strike. Because if y'all writing shit like this ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta do better. Now that y'all off strike, this is the time to, y'all done had time to get your rest and get better ideas. Now's the time to put that shit into action because this ain't it. So yeah, I'm going 2.5.
All right. I'm going a notch below and going to two.
Respect.
But I would say, as far as movies to fall asleep on, I would say this, and I will raise you Doctor Sleep. I went to sleep on that movie every single time. I still have not finished that movie.
Not only reason I finished it was because I found out it was the
The
sequel.
sequel to The Shining.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
only reason I finished it.
that's the only reason
And
why I
it is
tried to
that's
watch
a
it.
slow burn too. Yeah, that's a slow burn too.
That's the only reason why I tried to watch it. But the cast was, like I said, we spoke about it, all over the place. Tina Fey get the glasses back, and yeah, it was just I can promise you I would never watch this movie again. Um,
Okay. Can I call Cap real quick?
okay.
Would you rather watch this or Malignant?
Honestly, Malignant,
No
because
shit. Okay, I respect
I'm gonna
it.
tell you why. Because
I'm
some of
definitely
that
going.
shit is so fucking funny.
It's yeah.
Do
Malignant
where
was
it's like, yo, I don't mind watching that shit. Yo, when that motherfucker first came out of her back, you can't tell me that
come
wasn't the
on.
funniest shit you ever
Yeah,
seen. And when that
I
motherfucker
was
was running backwards
yeah,
down the
nigga,
road.
that shit was so stupid, bro. I can't believe they really put that out and thought that shit was gonna hit, bro. Like that's one of them movies that when you got an idea for it, you pull that out of hat. It had to be, bro. That shit was horrible.
And the way that motherfucker came back, that she had an abusive husband, that motherfucker slammed her head against the wall.
Fam, you got a whole another person growing out of you. And you mean to tell me you're getting abused by Nick? Come on, man. This nigga was a fucking ninja. He was sliding over the shit. He was cutting niggas' throats. This nigga was climbing walls and the sides of buildings. Like, come on, bro. Did he let
Oh
that nigga
man,
beat you? Nah, fam.
that's hilarious,
That shit was
boy.
crazy.
No, I will watch
You
that shit again before I watch
dumb as
this.
fuck, man. You are a sick individual, bro. You are a sick. I'm never watching that movie ever again. If I go into somebody's house and that movie on, I'm instantly leaving. I don't care what the situation is. I'm getting the fuck out of there. Because if you are a person that likes that movie, we can't be friends. I'm sorry. We can't be cool, bro. I don't give a fuck where I'm. If I'm in Costco and I need eggs, I'm going to Culver's. That shit on guaranteed. That movie is horrible, bro. Um. So you said two, right?
Yeah, I gave it two.
That's what's up, man. All right, let's move on, man. Let's get into the coming soon.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
Excuse me. All right, so next episode, we coming with a real scary movie. The
Hmm.
Nun 2. This is the
Yes.
sequel to The Nun. This is a part of the Conjuring universe. Uh yeah, this is gonna be it's gonna be pretty good. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
man.
lie to you.
I really enjoyed this movie. I am not mad about watching this over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
this was a
The
good one.
first one was great. You know,
See, I that's why we differ. I thought the first one was cool, but this one was great to me.
man, okay, so for me, right, out of this whole like universe thing, the Curse of La Llorona, the Nun, and I forgot what the other one was. I thought those were the best in this whole universe. I don't like the Conjuring personally because I'm not a big fan of them two going around shit and you know what I'm saying, trying to find ghosts. And then the Annabelle series, you had me at Chucky. I can't keep giving my scared attention to a doll, bro. We can't keep doing this. It's getting
Okay,
old at this point. I don't
we
even know
got
if I'm gonna get Megan too.
okay. Well, that's a discussion we can have on the pod. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. We got to talk about that for sure. But None 2 is the next episode, so y'all get ready. If you get a chance to, you know what I'm saying, get a few hours in, it's on well, I keep saying HBO Max. It's on Max. Go check it out. Go watch it. You're not gonna be disappointed, or maybe you will be disappointed. Who knows? But you know what I'm saying. It's all good. Either way, if you enjoyed this episode, if you didn't enjoy this episode, if you too wonder why we keep seeing ghosts in this movie and they not real, then hit us up. Let us know on socials at View9 Pod on Instagram and X. At VA Pod Watch Group. I'm sorry, on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group. We got a community on X, Viewers Anonymous. And like we told you in the last episodes, from now on, all our behind the scenes episodes are strictly going to be paid episodes. So if you want to hear what we're talking about, if you want to catch up on the news, or if you want to just hear us talk about Hollywood in general, make sure you sign up, subscribe. $2.99 a month. That's all you need. You know what I'm saying? Um, this money goes towards, you know what I'm saying, cameras, microphones, soundboards, laptops, all of the equipment that we need to continue to make this podcast better. And if you are the person who gave 60 cent to those commercial people talking about the little poor kids in Africa, you definitely should subscribe to us because we are definitely going to use your money way better than they ever did. You know what I'm saying? So uh I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? You got tricked by them. Go ahead, you know what I'm saying, and do the right thing and give your money to a real cause and not, you know what I'm saying, that lady on TV lying talking about this little boy hasn't eaten and I don't know how many days and they over there with cameras. It's fucked up. Um no, that was fucked up for real, bro. I used to wonder, like, so they sitting there recording this nigga being hungry. Why ain't they just feed the nigga? You already over there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Talk about this little man hasn't eaten in 7 days. Fam, give this nigga something to eat. You over there already. What the fuck do I got to give this nigga 60 cent for? Anyway, man. Also you can follow me on Twitter. I'm sorry, on X, at Scoots Bronson. I got a link tree in my bio. You can find me everywhere else there. That's all I got.
Okay, and y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram and on Twitter at 28 minutes or less pod. That's just on IG. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less. Last episode is episode 140, which is Nose Out Playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I know what my next two episodes are gonna be on 28 minutes or less, so stay on the lookout for them, man. I got two heaters I think coming on the way. So that's all I got.
Cool, man. Well, until the next time, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in as usual. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Without you, there could be, I'm sorry, yeah, I said it right. Without you, there could be no us. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. And until then, man, we closing out like they say in Hollywood. That's a wrap.
Cut.